I want to give a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Therapy isn't something to run away from, it's a vessel to run towards. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and it's 100% online, so break out your comfies. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time. Anytime. And schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. No more fumbling to get a session on the calendar. You schedule based on when the time is right for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. Therapy changed my life for the better, pun intended. And with BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Rocky. That's betterhelp.com/Rocky. You are lucky if you're freely listening to this podcast right now. You're lucky if you came home drunk, high, or sober last night. Your space was untouched and you woke up unbothered. You're lucky if you listened to music at your leisure today, texted a friend. You're lucky if you ate food and you know you'll eat more later. You're lucky if you have the option to be wherever you're at right now, doing whatever you're doing right now, not having to flee, not having to fight, not watching anyone die. You're lucky if you're on vacation or planning a vacation or you just got off a vacation. You're lucky if you can show outrage on Instagram right now. You're lucky if you can show that outrage from the comfort of your couch or your bed or your car. You're lucky if you talk to one of your loved ones today. You're lucky if your loved ones are alive. If you have a loved one that's passed recently, you're lucky if you get to send them off in a proper way, with notice and preparation and dignity. You're lucky if you're informed, and you're lucky if you live blissfully uninformed. Take a second to realize how lucky you really are in this moment, and then figure out how to take action.
Time for
the Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello. Did you have a good week? I sure hope so. There's a lot of chaos in the world. There's a lot of unrest. So if you were able to find some peace, some joy, some happiness in this week, then I'm really happy for you, baby. I want to start this podcast off by saying that I love improvisers. You might be somebody who thinks improv is corny. Maybe you've gone to a couple shows that haven't gone right. Or you might think improv is magic because you've seen great improv. But I'm not talking about improv shows. I am talking improvisers as individuals. Specifically improvisers who have been improvising for over 10 years. Those improvisers, they are here to laugh. Everybody's trying to have the next best joke. Everybody's trying to heighten the bit that was just said, be the funniest in the room, add on to what their funny friend said. And through years of trial and error, I'm happy to say that these improvisers have perfected it. Earlier in the week was my friend Jake's birthday, and a bunch of us were out celebrating. And when I tell you, I don't remember the last time I laughed that hard. I had pure, uninhibited belly laughs. I mean, my God, you should be able to bottle up that feeling and sell it. Maybe your friends don't make you laugh that hard. Maybe they just make you feel good. But if your friends aren't making you feel good, whether it's through laughs or words or energy, get new fucking friends. Jake, I'm glad you were born so we could have had those laughs. So many people are celebrating birthdays over the last couple weeks. I have to give a mega shout out to my brother, my teeny weeny, itsy bitsy, tiny whiny 6'2" little brother. His birthday also passed. And he's been on the pod a couple times if you want to check out some of the best episodes I've ever had. They were sitting across from that guy. And in the vein of loving improvisers, he's officially an improviser at UCB New York. So keep your eyes peeled and go see him live, baby. Skills, another person I'm happy was born. I was invited on a boat this week because I surround myself with the right people, but I have to be real. I learned a lesson. And I gotta be better at group chats. I'm not great at group chats. I love being a part of them. I will like and heart and share a gift to the last thing said. I just think I'm there for a good time, not a long time. Maybe I'm underestimating myself, but I'm just out there hearting. And because of that, this chat I was in about the boat, I missed the memo when the time changed. Yeah, the time changed, so I'm leisurely headed to this boat on the West Side Highway, when in reality, I'm missing the boat. A sunset boat ride. It was only an hour and a half. I was planning on meeting up with everybody afterwards, but it's the principle of the boat. Then I think about myself, and I think, you are such a person that believes whatever happens is supposed to happen. So, maybe you were gonna fall off that boat. Make the best of missing the boat, smoke a joint, go for a walk, go get a glass of wine somewhere before dinner, and then go meet up with them afterwards. So that was my plan. I'll stroll through this beautiful city on this perfect fall night, and before I know it, I'll be sitting at dinner with everybody hearing about how great the boat was. So I start walking, and who do I see? Beanie Feldstein. If you don't know who Beanie Feldstein is, she's Jonah Hill's little sister. If you don't know who Jonah Hill is, try wearing a bathing suit in your Instagram picture. You might bait him to comment. When he's not criticizing what his wife is wearing, Jonah Hill is a top-tier comedic actor. And Beanie Feldstein, that's his little sister. She doesn't disappoint either. And I walked right past her. Then I ran into my friend, and she and I ended up talking for 40 minutes on a corner. Those are the moments. That's what makes New York magic. A celebrity sighting, and then a friendship celebrity sighting. I went into this speakeasy of sorts to have a glass of wine before I met everybody for dinner. And you know what? I think you needed a reservation. You gotta go down these stairs. I knock on the door. The hostess yells something into an intercom. And I was like, "We good?" And she was like, "And I was like, "Can I come in for a glass of wine?" And she was like, "Is that a yes?" It is not okay for people to come into places, establishments. I talked about it last week. We can't be rude to anybody in the service industry. We shouldn't be rude to anybody in any industry. But that also goes for people coming into your business. You don't have to start from jump rude. We all don't have to be so fucking rude to each other. We will not die if we will be nice to each other. Or maybe we will. But just fucking try it. Then the door opens, and a really grimace-faced woman about my age opened it. And I said, "Hey, can I just grab a quick seat at the bar?" Yeah. I guess you can sit at the bar. I don't have any tables open." "Well, bitch, ask for a seat at the bar." I didn't say that, of course. I just said, "Yeah, no, I want to sit at the bar anyway." "What did you say on the intercom, by the way?" Totally ignored me. I had to pinch myself to see if I was a ghost. However, if a ghost pinches himself, can they feel it? I guess that's a question for future me. Grab a seat at the bar, got an overpriced glass of Malbec, looked around for a potential suitor, even though love finds you when you're not looking. Because I was looking, I found no love, but I did see a lot of people on dates, and I saw a lot of empty tables. Had my glass of wine, the tables were still empty. I go meet everybody for some Korean food after the boat ride, and I wasn't even sad. I was so happy to see all of them. But God, to have gotten to be on a boat. Maybe a whale would have tipped it over if I was in there. Whales have sonar, and podcasts are sonish. There might be a big fan of mine in the Hudson that we don't even know about. All in all, the night ended with more wine, more food, more weed, more laughs. And if you're me, less boat. Did it turn into a 2 a.m. night? It for sure did. And I know the show is Wild Nights, but sometimes it's not all wild nights. Sometimes it's wild happenings. One of the ways I like to do my thinking is I like to grab a joint and go for a long walk. I went to my favorite smoke shop, grabbed a joint, and I was ready to do some of my best thinking a few nights ago. When I walked out of the smoke shop, I realized I didn't have a lighter on me. This is a New York first for your girl because in my home, I like to keep a lighter in arm's reach at all times. I don't like to have to walk a foot for a lighter, and that's just because I like to make my life more convenient. You never know when you're going to have to spark up. But I wasn't in my home for this nighttime walk. I was only in my body. And I didn't have a lighter on me or the will, knowing how many lighters I own, to walk into a bodega and spend another $2 to $3 on a lighter. It would be a waste. So I did something I've never done before. I saw a man smoking a cigar across from a woman smoking a cigarette, sitting outside a dessert shop with their friends. And I thought, cigar, cigarette, joint. The bases are about to be loaded, baby. Would I be able to borrow your lighter really quick? The man said nothing. He just underhanded me the lighter. The bases were indeed loaded now, but I guess we were playing softball. And I passed it right back to him and I said, thanks, man. And I prayed and prayed that that joint didn't go out on my walk. And then I thought, wow. In that moment, I depended on the kindness of strangers and it worked out. We've come a long way, worlds. We have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. I've never bummed a lighter from someone when I was solo before. Weirdly, I feel this new level of empowerment. I mean, my motto is God bless the child that has their own, but it was nice to know I could depend on a stranger in that second. If there's one thing that I'm absolutely tired of, it's men that are acting like they don't have girlfriends for a while and then casually dropping that they have a girlfriend. I was out with my friends the other day, and there's this bartender, and let's just call him wildly flirtatious. For months, he's been vague and vaguer about whether or not he's in a relationship. So we sat down at the bar, and then all of a sudden, he brings up his girlfriend out of nowhere. The three of us started looking around because, well, we were searching for who the fuck asked. And he said, you know, guys, I think my girlfriend's the one. Oh, okay, I guess this is what we're talking about. You know, we've been together for 4 years, and I was just thinking about the first month that we started dating. You know, she's from this random town in Georgia, and I'm from this random town in Georgia. And when we were first starting dating, I mean, our first month of dating, she had to go to this random town in Georgia where she's from. And I also had to go to the random town in Georgia where I'm from. And me and my mom were driving all the way from Pennsylvania down to Georgia. And I said to my girlfriend, who I was only dating for a month then, hey, this sounds a little unconventional, and I know we just started dating, but do you want to drive down with me and my mom to Georgia since we're going your way anyway? And then she rode in the car with me and my mom for 23 hours. And that's how I knew she was the one. Okay, bro. Thanks for opening up, I guess. No one asked for this story. Happy to be a listening ear, I guess, but no one asked for this story. Can we at least get 3 chilled tequila shots for enduring that random nonsense you just spewed our way? People love to spew random nonsense. Another guy we know gets in the mix. We start talking about this party that's coming up. We tell him, you should come to this party. You're super fun. And by super fun, we meant flirty and single. And he says, yeah, that'd be great. But I have this girl who's coming to visit me from Quebec this weekend, and she's staying with me for a couple days. Can I bring her too? Yeah, you know what? Just bring her. The more, the fucking merrier, I guess. But if we knew you were bringing a girl from Quebec to the party, I wouldn't have let you whisper in my ear about how you think the Eagles are going to take it all the way if I knew the girl from Quebec was coming. This is why I'm for and against mind reading. Men are out here wasting people's time, and time you can't get back. One thing that was absolutely not a waste of time this week was Hocus Pocus, done in drag. I went to see a queer theater collective's production of Hocus Pocus. They essentially were lip-syncing the whole movie, but as the characters fully dressed up, but then they would pause the movie to do a drag number. I went with my friends. I brought my mom. It was, for lack of a better word, a rootin' tootin' good time. One of the characters, obviously, was Sarah Jessica Parker's character. And in the beginning, before they return her young, spoiler alert if you've never watched Hocus Pocus, the drag queen had a horse mask on. And I was like, damn, now that's foul. She took it off, and I thought she was going to commit to the horse mask the entire time, but I was like, damn, that's foul. I think SJP is beautiful. There was also another point in the show where one of the characters sniffs a big fake bottle of poppers. Trying to make sure my mom was keeping up, I leaned over to her and I go, hey, do you know what that bottle is? And she turned to me and she goes, yeah, it's poppers. And if there was any ounce of cool in my body, it was because of her. I was with 4 gay men once and they were like, Rocky, have you ever sniffed poppers? And I was like, no, I'd never sniffed poppers before. And they were like, do you want to sniff poppers tonight? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it. and so I sniffed the poppers. And to me, it smelled like nail polish remover. I wasn't with the shits. It was a one and done. Hocus Pocus is a great Halloween movie, but one Halloween movie I don't think gets enough credit is Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood, it has 3 or 4, I haven't seen it in a long time, 3 or 4 short, scary stories within the movie, while one scary story is being told as the through line of the movie. Each story was scarier than the last, and I hardly hear people talk about it when Halloween season comes around. If you're a scary movie buff, I cannot recommend this movie enough. Give it a watch. Quick shout out to my friends Natalie and Ryan who had a baby while celebrating their other baby's 2nd birthday. You guys are killing it, and I love you both. Well, I love all 4 of you. That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, I wouldn't say I have an aversion to hugging because I love to hug people, but I like to hug smart. I don't like to give my hugs out willy-nilly. If I just met you, I don't need to hug you. Hugging is a big exchange of energy, and my energy is super duper fucking precious, and so is yours. Normalize fist bumps. Normalize head nods to acquaintances. When I was in high school, me and my friend Megan would be walking behind the other girls in our grade, and even in other grades, and they would hug each other outside every classroom. And these are girls that were talking shit about each other too. And we would look at each other and we would say, aren't they gonna see each other in 2 periods? It bred this sort of connection to fakeness in me. So I'm cool just giving a fist bump. I'm happy to hug the people I love. But I cannot emphasize this enough. Protect your fucking energy. Strangers don't have to hug. Number 2, high school reunions should be done in chunks. Hear me out. Rather than just having a 10 or 15 or 20-year reunion with your class, you should be able to have a reunion with the 2 classes behind you and the class ahead of you. Or I guess 3 classes ahead of you, or 3 classes behind you. I wish there was a soiree for chunks of years rather than one individual year. Because a lot of my good friends in high school weren't in my grade. 10 people showed up at my high school reunion and there was over 400 people in my class. I was not one of those people. But had the guest list been a little wider, I don't know. Maybe more people would have shown up. It's just something to think about. We all went to high school together. We should all be able to reune together. Number 3, tacos and burgers are the same thing. One of them's just squished together and inbred, and the other is chopped up in a tortilla shell. But really think about it. Tacos and burgers are the same. And number 4, with all the wild things that are probably going to come in the future, in terms of apps, in terms of convenience, I wish there was an app that would tell you who is there to waste your time and who is an of value person. I think this was an episode of Black Mirror. Everyone was worried about their rating system. But what if you could rate people and other people couldn't see who rated them that way, and you couldn't tell anyone you rated them that way? Does that make sense? It's all anonymous, and you can only find out maybe if you're having that connection with that person, and you can't say anything, because let's say you say something, then you lose all privileges to check other people's ratings. But at this point in life, we should be able to have accurate reviews of people so we know who the fuck is here to waste our time and who the fuck is worth investing in. You're welcome, app creators. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch past episodes and extended interviews with past guests, please subscribe on YouTube. If you want to support the show with your wallet, you can do so for $2 or $5 a month by joining my Patreon. A big thank you and a future thank you to everyone who's written and everyone who will write a review when this episode is over. It really does make a difference. If you're celebrating any Halloween parties this weekend, be wild and be safe. And until next week, stay wild.
Is it?